Okay, so Mr. Osborne, the last time you were here, you were preparing for a consultation, but that's not quite how your appointment went.
Nope. It actually the idea was to do some sub gum cleaning, under the gums and around the roots of the teeth. Well, when I came in, I have had a tooth that was bothering me for literally for months and off and on, and after the previous session, it was bothering me a lot, to a point where I wasn't sleeping and I couldn't eat right, and so the appointment changed from the consult and continuing the cleaning to an extraction, which I was kind of hoping for by the time I got here. And that, I mean, in and of itself is a big change in my attitude, because previously to that I would have avoided it, at pretty much any cost, but the cost just wasn't worth it anymore. And I felt a lot better. I mean, she just went ahead and did the extraction, and it hurt a lot, but at the same time, it's doing better now. It took a few days to get quieted down, but now it's doing really well, and I'm very glad that I had that done, because it was in that part of the cycle where I knew it was just going to last a long time and be agonizing and horrible. So
I was very surprised, because one of the reasons we're doing this series of interviews is that you suffer from anxiety.
Oh yeah, and I did experience some, but after going through the sessions with Dr. Peel, listening to the material and using the tools that she gave me on a regular basis has really made, I can tell the difference in the way I feel about coming in here at all. Even after 3 sessions and what would have been like 4 weeks of time, but using those tools, working with them, listening to the subliminal messaging, being pumped into my head, and that has helped me a lot.
Now, I don't notice your iPod today. Did you bring your iPod?
Yeah, I do have it. It's in my jacket pocket.
So you're going to do that again, where you'll be listening to the messages?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And I ended up being 2 minutes late because I actually left my friend's house on the way over here, and I turned around and ran back and got the iPod. So it's kind of a crutch, but whatever works at this point is what I'm after. So
now, what kind of messages? You say they're subliminal.
Well, it's kind of I guess I would call it semi-subliminal, because when I have the headphones on, I actually hear 2 voices, and they're speaking at the same time. There's some ambient kind of music in the background, and what ends up, I can't really focus on either of the voices, but the messages that are coming through, if I take one headphone off and I can hear the other one, and it's saying, you can be calm, you don't have to worry about this, these people know what they're doing, everything's going to be fine, because you're here for a reason, you're dealing with professionals. And in the other one, there's some other message going on, basically that doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. And one is a male voice, one is a female voice, and at different points during the course of the therapy session, or the subliminal session, or whatever, the context of the messages switches from. So the female voice will start talking about, just relax and make sure that you're relaxing your body, and don't worry about what's going on. They know what they're doing. All you have to do is stay still and be calm, and you'll be fine. And then the other voice is the male voice starts telling some sort of story about someone who, went and did a new thing, experienced things that they had resisted before and found out that it was okay. So it's interesting how that works. And for me, what I end up hearing, I hear the voices, but I'm hearing them both at the same time, so I don't, on a conscious level, really understand what they're saying, but it does get through, and it gets down to the subconscious, where these messages of flee, fight, whatever, are going on, and telling me that I need to get out of there because it's really scary, and and getting past that and saying, no, you don't need to be afraid. This is not a fight or flight situation. So
are you able then are you also focusing on your breath and breathing?
Oh, breathing, absolutely. Yeah.
And do you notice, are your palms sweaty?
Nope.
Or no?
Nope.
And is your heart? Does your
heart
heart race?
I mean, when I came in for the first appointment, I was, locked onto the arms of the chair like this, and last time I realized I wasn't doing that, started to do it, and then said, oh, wait, I don't need to do that.
Right. Now, was there anything, I know that what Dr. Peel has done with you has really helped, but also the dentist and the assistant have been working with you too.
Oh,
So is
sure.
there anything that the staff at General Dental has done that stands out in your mind that has been very helpful for you through this experience?
Yeah, Dr. Huang, and this was from when I had the tooth extracted. I ended up with a dry socket from the tooth, and I've had a history of that. It's been so long since I've had anything done that I forgot. And then all of a sudden, I had the extraction done on Wednesday, and on Thursday morning, after having breakfast, I realized that it was hurting like crazy, even worse than it was before, and I thought, oh no. And then I remembered I lost the clot. So I called the office, and I came in later on Thursday, and she said, oh, well, you know, things, and I apologized to her. I said, I must have screwed this up, and I'm really sorry. And she said, oh, you know, things happen. And she came in and packed it and poked at it a little bit to see how it was doing and how the sutures were sitting. And she really talked me through it, told me exactly what she was going to do, and told me if you need this done again, if it's still hurting Saturday morning, you call me. I'm at home. I'll come in. It'll take 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. And by Saturday morning, I noticed that the pain had started switching from, you know, just horrible burning, throbbing agony to a kind of an itchy, deep feeling. And I knew at that point that, you know, that the itching meant that it was starting to heal, so I didn't need to come back in. But her willingness to deal with the situation without, you know, without being irritated, and even going out of her way and saying, well, I'm not working Saturday, but I'll come in for a few minutes and we'll take care of this if you need it. It made me feel a lot better. So yeah, and everyone, I mean, everyone that I've dealt with, the staff here, the hygienists, the secretary, Stephanie will call me up and remind me of an appointment, or Robin will, and it's nice to hear them on the phone because they're really talking to me. They're not just, you know, going through this robotic thing about reminding of an appointment. And people being pleasant. It's still, you know, it is a very difficult situation for me to come and have someone actually open my mouth and look in my mouth in detail, even though you've got the evidence on your machines, you know, the x-rays and everything. But everyone's been so pleasant and supportive, you know, and just let's think about what it's going to look like when you're done, and I'm sure you'll feel a lot better. And having them say that, and Dr. Peel has said the same thing, you know, instead of, you know, looking at the past, look at the future, and this is why you're here. It does. I walk out of here feeling a lot better.
Encouraged, uplifted?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I was talking to my daughter, who's 20. Well, she's almost 20. But I said, you know, she said, well, this is going to cost you a lot of money. And I said, well, yeah, it's going to cost me a lot of money. But you know what? I'm going to show up every time I have a payment to and I'm going to drop it off with a big, huge smile on my face. I am happy to, you know, to be in a situation where, yes, it's going to cost me a lot of money, but this is absolutely worth it, because it will create a difference in my life that I can't even, I can imagine, but I can't really describe at this point, because I don't know. But I know it's, you know, I know it's something that I've needed to do for a long time. And once the process really gets going and the changes are visible, then yeah, it's going to make a huge difference in